Hello there, very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News. I'm Tracy Shilshi, and in the next 30 minutes, I'll be getting you through the news you probably missed through the night and also the biggest news of the day ahead. Let's start with the headlines. Winter session of Parliament to begin today. 14 new bills slated to be introduced in both houses, including one making instant triple talaq an offence. Session to have 14 sittings to end on January 5. Ahead of the winter session of Parliament, Vice President and Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu reminds parliamentarians about their responsibility in ensuring the smooth conduct of proceedings in the House.
To see that the Parliament functions effectively. .7% polling recorded in the second and final phase of Gujarat polls, counting for votes of 182 members. Gujarat Assembly and 68-member Himachal Pradesh Assembly on Monday. Most exit polls predict victory for BJP in both states. Top media regulator in the US votes to end rules protecting open internet. New rules could hand internet service providers power over what content consumers can access. Cable companies dismiss the concerns. Regulator likely to face legal challenge. And Kidambi Srikanth crashes out of the Dubai Super Series Finals badminton tournament after second consecutive match loss. But PV Sindhu will take on world number 2 Akane Yamaguchi of Japan today after making it to the semi-final. Our top focus, the winter session of Parliament will begin today. The session will have 14 sittings and will end on the 5th of January. 14 new bills are slated to be introduced by the government in both houses of Parliament. There will be 4 private members' days during the session. 25 bills are pending in Lok Sabha, while 39 bills are pending in the Rajya Sabha. 15 bills are slated to be taken up for consideration and passing in the Lok Sabha. 10 out of the pending bills are slated to be taken up for consideration and passing in Rajya Sabha. And ahead of the winter session, Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu reminded parliamentarians about their responsibilities in ensuring the smooth conduct of proceedings in the House. Stating that the members carried the expectations of the people on their shoulders, Mr. Naidu said that he was looking forward to conducting business in his first full session as Chairman of the House.
On the eve of the winter session of Parliament that starts on Friday, Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu appealed to the government to give enough space to the opposition to allow it to raise people's concerns. Chairman Naidu also advised the government to be patient in responding to the opposition's point of view.
Government and to the entire House is be patient. Hear what others has to say. The government, सत्तारूढ़ के पार्टी के पास सत्ता है. विपक्ष को कम से कम अपना विषय रखने के लिए मौका देना चाहिए. मैं निश्चित रूप में इस मत का हूँ. Because the government has majority anyhow and they are ruling the country. The opposition must have its say in the House. They must express their point of view. And the government must be patient enough to hear the opposition point of view and respond also. That's why the government must be willing to go even a little one step ahead and then accommodate the opposition point of view.
Vice President Naidu, who is also the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha, said that Parliament must effectively highlight the people's aspirations. While acknowledging the importance of the opposition in a democracy, the Rajya Sabha chairman asked the opposition to respect of the people and the right of the government to legislate. He urged the opposition to be constructive and cooperative.
And we are Parliament, and that too we are an upper house. The entire country, that is the legislatures at the state level and even the people's assemblies at local level, local panchayat raj institutions, they are always, they will be looking towards Parliament. Parliament में क्या हुआ, राज्य सभा में बहस कैसा हुआ. दोनों साइड रूलिंग पार्टी का ज़्यादा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है सत्ता में रहने के कारण से, और अपोजिशन को भी हाउस ठीक तरह से चले, इसमें सरकार के साथ मिलकर काम करना चाहिए.
Stating that the coming session is very important, the chairman said every session brings hope to the people. Naidu also said he will run the House according to the decision taken by the Business Advisory Committee. However, he said he will use his own judgment in dealing with differences between the government and the opposition. Parliament will be in session from the 15th of December to the 5th of January 2018. The winter session will have 14 sittings of both houses during the 21-day period. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The centre convened an all-party meeting on Thursday ahead of the winter session. In the meeting, the Prime Minister appealed to all members to ensure smooth functioning of the House. Opposition party leaders too had held a separate meeting earlier. Here's a report.
At the all-party meet convened on the eve of the Parliament's winter session, Prime Minister Modi appealed for cooperation from all to make the session meaningful and constructive. The Prime Minister also pitched for simultaneous polls for the Lok Sabha and state assemblies, saying that holding elections once in 5 years will boost development.
We are going to request our honourable Parliament members to work for the full time of the Parliament, so that with other topical issues, other issues of national importance which opposition may raise, and government is ready to debate on any issue, we will also want to exhaust the government business.
Opposition party leaders also met on Thursday in a separate meeting and expressed disappointment and outrage over the termination of rebel JDU leaders Sharad Yadav and Ali Anwar Ansari from Rajya Sabha. Congress leaders also demanded an apology from the Prime Minister for attacking his predecessor Dr. Manmohan Singh during the poll campaign in Gujarat.
अगर वो कॉन्स्पिरेसी सच तो एक्शन लेना चाहिए, और अगर सिर्फ इलेक्शन का एक मुद्दा बना के इतने बड़े बड़े पदों पर रहने वाले लोगों को पर ये झूठा आरोप लगाया, तो झूठे आरोप लगाने वालों पर भी वो भी दंडित होने चाहिए।
मीटिंग में जिस तरह आज गुजरात में पीएम ने रोड शो किया है, तो सबका हम लोगों ने काफी विरोध किया है। हम लोगों का ये ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि इलेक्शन कमीशन किसी एक पार्टी का हो जाए। हम सबने इस पे क्षोभ जताया है। साथ में शरद यादव जी की जैसे अनवर अली की मेंबरशिप ली गई, उसका भी हम लोग विरोध।
Some of the new bills listed for introduction and passage include the Goods and Services Tax Amendment Bill 2017, the Indian Forest Amendment Bill 2017, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code Amendment Bill 2017, the Dentist Amendment Bill 2017, the Payment of Gratuity Amendment Bill 2017, the Representation of the People Amendment Bill 2017, the Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Bill 2017, the High Court and the Supreme Court Judges Salary and Condition of Services Amendment Bill 2017. Panchanand Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan also hopes for a successful winter session of Parliament. Speaking after an all-party meeting convened by her ahead of the session, she said that she would strive to ensure that a healthy discussion is held on all issues raised by leaders of political parties. She also said that besides government business, she would try to take up matters of public importance raised by members in the course of the session. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was also present at the meeting.
ये आने वाला सत्र जो है, ये सत्र 5 जनवरी तक चलेगा और कई सारी बात जितने भी सरकारी कामकाज आएगा वो तो करेंगे ही, और साथ ही साथ ये कोशिश रहेगी कि जो भी 193 के अंतर्गत या हाफ एन आवर में ऐसी जो चर्चाएं सदस्यों को हमने कहा है ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लेने की कोशिश हम करेंगे.
And now turning our focus to Gujarat. The second phase of polling saw 68.7% voter turnout on Thursday. Polling was held in 93 of the 182 seats in the state in the second and the final phase. Now more than 2 crore voters in North and Central Gujarat regions exercised their franchisee. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, Partidar leader Hardik Patel and Congress's Alpesh Thakur were among those who voted in this phase.
The average turnout for phase 2 is 68.70%. For about the first phase, we had told the figure of 68%, but final figure is 66.75%.
After a hectic campaign, The curtains came down on the Gujarat election as voting for the second phase ended on Thursday. 2.2 crore voters exercised their franchise to decide the fate of 851 candidates contesting for 93 seats in North and Central Gujarat.
हमने ये अनामत के लिए हमें जो अच्छा लगा हमने उन्हें वोट दिया है कि जो हमारे वोट आने आए और वो हमारे साथ रहे हमने उनको वोट दिया है।
चुनाव के मुद्दे तो अभी विकास है, पहले तो वही सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा है, विकास अच्छा हो।
विकास का मुद्दा है,
विकास का ही मुद्दा,
विकास का ही मुद्दा।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi, BJP President Amit Shah, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley and senior BJP leader L.K. Advani also voted in the second phase.
गुजरात ने पिछले कई वर्षों से अपनी विकास यात्रा में अच्छी प्रगति की है और मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि गुजरात की जनता बहुत अधिक मात्रा में बाहर आए। मैं उनसे अपील भी करता हूं वोट डालने के लिए, इस विकास यात्रा को कायम रखें।
पूरे देश और दुनिया में गुजरात के विकास का मॉडल बखाना जाता है, उसकी प्रशंसा होती है। मैं मानता हूं कि यही क्रम को बरकरार रखने के लिए गुजरात की जनता ने बड़ी भारी संख्या में मतदान करना चाहिए।
From the opposition, Hardik Patel and Alpesh Thakur voted at different polling stations in the Viramgam Assembly constituency of Ahmedabad district. President of the Gujarat Pradesh Congress Committee, Bharat Singh Solanki, expressed confidence of coming back to power.
ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी विरुद्ध गुजरात की जनता का चुनाव है। गुजरात की जनता अपने भविष्य के लिए, नवसर्जन के लिए कांग्रेस को भारी बहुमत से जिताएगी।
Compared to phase 1 that concluded on Saturday, phase 2 saw less than 50% cases of EVM replacements.
0.88% BU replace हुआ, 0.80% CU replace हुआ और 1.63% VVPAT replace हुआ। जो 25,000 से ज़्यादा वोट्स हम कर रहे हैं तो परसेंटेज वाइज आप देख सकते हैं वो फिगर फेज 1 से काफ़ी बेटर है।
A 66.75% voter turnout was recorded in the first phase of voting that covered 89 seats across Kutch, Saurashtra and South Gujarat in the 182-member assembly. In the 2012 assembly polls, the BJP had 115 seats, while the Congress bagged 61. Votes will be counted on December 18th.
It remains to be seen whether the Patidar strongholds in the northern parts of the state could impact the contours of the polls in the second phase. The BJP is confident that its developmental works and the relief work during floods would pave its way, while the Congress is banking on its social lines to tilt the balance in its favour. The fate of candidates has been sealed in the EVMs. Who would emerge victorious? Well, it will be clear on December 18th. Reporting from Ahmedabad, with camera Yogesh Agarwal, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
Well, at least 3 exit polls on Thursday showed the BJP was headed for a win in Gujarat. The NewsX CNX exit poll numbers saw the BJP winning 115 seats with the Congress at 65. The Republic Jan Ki Baat poll saw the BJP taking 108 seats in Gujarat while the Congress was tipped to win 74 seats. The poll also said that the BJP was likely to sweep the 54-seat Saurashtra-Kutch region, winning 31 to 37 seats. The Congress was tipped to win 16 to 22 seats, with others likely to get 0 to 2. Now, the CNN News 18 mega poll of polls had the BJP winning 125 seats and the Congress 57. The Times Now VMR poll is projecting a win for the BJP with 109 seats and the Congress 70. In a slight change of numbers, the ABP CSDS poll had the BJP getting 91 to 99 seats and the Congress with 78 to 86 seats. In the outgoing Gujarat Assembly, the BJP had 115 seats, while the Congress held 61 seats and others 6 seats. And staying with the exit polls, the BJP also expected to bag Himachal Pradesh. A poll of exit polls, an aggregate of 8 surveys by television channels, shows the BJP's victory over the Congress by 2/3 of majority in the state. The NewsX exit poll numbers showed that the BJP will win about 42 to 50 seats, with the Congress settling between 18 to 24 in the 68-member assembly. The India Today Axis poll says BJP will bag 51 seats and the Congress will bag 16. The Times Now VMR poll is projecting a win for BJP with 51 seats and the Congress 16. The C voter predicted 41 seats for BJP and 25 seats for Congress in Himachal. Now, the ABP News CSDS exit poll gave 38 seats to the BJP, while the Congress, it said, will get about 29 seats. The Z News Axis exit polls predicted 51 seats for the BJP and 17 for the Congress. A party, of course, needs 35 seats or more to cross the halfway mark and form government in Himachal Pradesh. A quick break here. We'll be back with the other national and international stories in just a bit. Stay with us.
I am Raj Paroda. I am going to talk to you about challenges before Indian agriculture, how successfully we can meet them through scientific initiatives and efforts. Watch Eureka.
Welcome back. Let's get more national news. And the Supreme Court has directed the centre to allocate the funds for setting up of 12 special courts to deal with cases involving politicians. The Apex Court has asked the centre to allocate 7.8 crore rupees to the concerned states. The Supreme Court also said that the concerned states should immediately set up these courts in consultation with high courts. The court added that the states should ensure that the special courts become functional from the 1st of March 2018. The Apex Court also said that the main issue relating to life ban on convicted politicians would be heard in the month of March. The Apex Court has listed the matter for further hearing on the 7th of March. Earlier, on the 1st of November, the Apex Court had directed the centre to place before it details regarding 1,581 cases involving MPs and MLAs. And today, the Supreme Court is slated to pass an order extending the deadline for the Aadhaar mobile phone linking from February 6, 2018 to March 31, 2018. On Thursday, the 5-judge Constitution bench agreed to the government's suggestion to pass a judicial order extending the deadline. Attorney General K.K. Venugopal for the government submitted that the deadline for linking of everything, including bank accounts, with Aadhaar has already been extended from 31st December to 31st of March 2018. After a day-long hearing on Thursday, the bench said that since the deadline has been extended to March, the final hearing on the very validity of Aadhaar scheme, challenged in 24 separate petitions, can be scheduled now for January. The court has fixed the date for January 17, 2018 for hearing of these petitions. And now look at what else will be making news in the day ahead. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu will be on a 3-day tour to Telangana, Goa and Madhya Pradesh from today. He will inaugurate the World Telugu Conference in Hyderabad, which is being organized by the Telangana government. Andhra Pradesh and Telangana Governor E.S.L. Narasimhan and his Maharashtra Governor C. Vidyasagar Rao will be attending the program as well. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley will hold a crucial pre-budget interaction with chief executives of banks, financial institutions and non-banking finance companies in New Delhi today. This is a continuation of the series of meetings that the finance minister has been having with various sectors ahead of the union budget next year. The 2-week-long 8th edition of the Indo-Maldives joint military exercise, Ekuvarin, will be conducted at Belgavi, about 505 kilometers from Bengaluru. The bilateral annual exercise is a 14-day joint military training between the Indian Army and the Maldives National Defence Force, which is held alternatively in India and the Maldives since 2009. All right, turning our focus to the weather now. Cold conditions prevailed in North India with dense fog covering parts of Punjab, Haryana and Kashmir. The Srinagar-Jammu National Highway reopened for one-way traffic, restoring the surface link between the Kashmir Valley and the rest of the country. The authorities have issued the order for not parking any vehicles from Jawahar Tunnel to Ramban and from Jawahar Tunnel to Lower Munda due to landslide vulnerable zone. The Met Department has also predicted rain in Kashmir Valley and snowfall in upper mountainous regions of the state. Reeling under sub-zero temperatures, a medium danger avalanche warning was issued for some districts in Himachal Pradesh. Also, the likes of areas like Keelong, Bharmor and Manali received 10 centimeters to 6 centimeters of snow, respectively. Shallow, foggy conditions witnessed in the national capital as visibility dropped to poor levels in Punjab and Haryana as well. Minimum temperature hovered around normal levels in both the states, with Narnaul recording a low of 6.3 degrees Celsius. Traffic on several roads affected due to fog as well that enveloped many places, including parts of Ludhiana, Patiala, Amritsar, Karnal, Kurukshetra, Hisar and Ambala. Pakistan on Thursday directed its High Commission in New Delhi to issue visas to the wife and mother of Kulbhushan Jadhav. The directive was issued by the Foreign Ministry following its decision last week to allow Jadhav's family to meet him on 25th of December in Islamabad. The Foreign Office sources in Islamabad said that adequate security measures will be taken for complete safety of Jadhav's family. An Indian High Commission official will be allowed to accompany Jadhav's family during their meeting. Meanwhile, India has said that it is working on finalizing the visit of the mother and wife of Kulbhushan Jadhav to Pakistan. India on Thursday also asserted that Jadhav was given the death sentence in Pakistan through a farcical process and reiterated its demand for consular access to him, which Pakistan has denied again. The move comes after Islamabad rejected New Delhi's request for an access at the International Court of Justice on Wednesday. International news: and U.S. regulator on Thursday voted to roll back net neutrality rules that require internet providers to treat all traffic equally. The Federal Communications Commission, in a 3-2 vote, adopted a proposal by Republican-appointed Chairman Indian-American Ajit Pai. By doing so, the Republican Majority Commission has reversed the 2015 net neutrality rule of the previous Obama administration, which mandated upon all internet service providers to treat all traffic equally without blocking or showing content. The FCC, in an earlier statement, said that the voting showed that the decision restores the long-standing bipartisan, light-touch regulatory framework that has fostered rapid internet growth, openness and freedom for nearly 20 years. The critics say the move is against the interest of the consumers and favors big corporate companies. Net neutrality is the basic principle that prohibits internet service providers from speeding up, slowing down or blocking any content, applications or websites a user wants to use.
We're reversing the Obama-era FCC's unprecedented decision to apply Title II regulations to the Internet. I'm proud to help end this 2-year experiment with heavy-handed regulation, this massive regulatory overreach.
Internet service providers could charge you content or charge you to actually access certain content, which would be much more like cable news. If you look at countries where net neutrality protections don't exist, for example, Portugal, that's actually what we've seen, is where these companies, internet service providers, are actually charging people to access certain content.
British Prime Minister Theresa May has said that the United Kingdom is on course to deliver on Brexit as she arrived in Brussels for an EU summit the day after her first Commons defeat as Prime Minister. She said that she was disappointed at the vote of the EU withdrawal bill, but the legislation was making good progress. May's own Conservative MPs on Thursday rebelled on a vote on an amendment to the flagship bill that would give Parliament the final say on a Brexit deal with Brussels. Meanwhile, EU leaders are reportedly expected to formally agree to start the next phase of negotiations today. Britain voted to leave the EU in a referendum in June 2016, and talks on its departure began a year later. Britain is expected to leave the EU by March 2019.
I'm disappointed with the amendment, but actually the EU withdrawal bill is making good progress through the House of Commons, and we're on course to deliver on Brexit. And if you remember last week, President Juncker said that sufficient progress had been made to move on to phase 2 of our negotiations. Yesterday, the European Parliament overwhelmingly voted to accept that recommendation too, and I'm looking forward to discussing that deep and special partnership for the future.
And here are more international news updates in World Wrap. A train and a school bus collided near Perpignan in France, leaving at least 4 children dead and many others injured. As per reports, 11 of them are in a critical condition. The bus had picked up pupils aged between 13 and 17 from a nearby secondary school before it was hit. Prime Minister Edouard Philippe, who visited the scene, said that the task of identifying the victims was proving to be extremely difficult. Walt Disney Company on Thursday agreed to buy film, television and international businesses from Rupert Murdoch's 21st Century Fox in a $52.4 billion stock. Disney chief executive Bob Iger, who was previously expected to step down in 2019, will now stay on through 2021. Disney, which owns the ABC television network, ESPN, and has major studios in Hollywood, is set to launch its own streaming services aimed at competing against Netflix and Amazon. The UN Security Council is expected to hold a ministerial meeting on North Korea's nuclear and missile programs. Earlier, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has said that a unified effort to fully implement sanctions on North Korea are key to resolve the country's growing missile and nuclear threat. He also added North Korea must be denuclearized for peace and stability in the region. And let's get you some quick sports update. And Kidambi Srikanth crashed out of the Dubai Super Series finals on Thursday after suffering a second consecutive defeat in the men's singles. World number 7, Taiwan's Zhou Tenchen, took 43 minutes to stun world number 4, Kidambi Srikanth, 21-18, 21-18 in a Group B match. He will now face All England Open finalist Shi Yushi of China in his last and final match of the group.
He's done it. Zhou Tianchen of Chinese Taipei beats the...
In the women's singles, PV Sindhu advanced to the semi-finals after defeating Japan's Sayaka Sato 21-13, 21-12. Sindhu started her campaign defeating world number 9 He Bingjiao of China. She will now take on Japan's Akane Yamaguchi in her next match today. That's it on the Breakfast News. Thank you so much for joining us. Our next English News Bulletin will be at 1 p.m. Do join us then.